If we can go ahead and bring this meeting to order. If I can first have the invocation by Pastor Mason Okubo, Emmanuel First Lutheran Church in West Covina, and that will be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance by Mayor Pro Tem Shelley Sanderson. Please rise.
Good evening, Mayor Tui, council members. Let's bow our heads in prayer. Father in heaven, we thank you for your many blessings. Thank you for your Son, Jesus Christ, whose resurrection we celebrated this last Easter. We ask for your Holy Spirit, your wisdom to be upon us as we work on the needs of your fair city. Ask for your leaders here that you would endow them with wisdom and grace. And we thank you for all this in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. Amen.
Please join with me in the pledge to our flag. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mason, Pastor. If we can roll call, Madam City Clerk, please.
Mayor Tui.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Sanderson. Here. Councilmember Herford.
Here.
Councilmember Sykes.
Here. Okay, report out of closed session. Matt, Mr. City Attorney.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. The record should reflect that the City Council did hold a special meeting as to consider the items as posted on the notice of special meeting. That being the two items under conference with labor negotiators pursuant to Government Code Section 54957.6. The record should reflect that all council members were present for the closed session. There was a report provided by staff during the closed session. However, there was no final action taken, and I have nothing further to report on this item. And that concludes my report out of closed session.
Thank you. Andy, Mr. City Manager, changes to the agenda.
We do have an amended attachment to item number 20 dealing with the administrative budget of the successor agency before you on your dais. So when we get to that item.
Thank you. We'll drop down to presentations. If we can have Councilmember Jack Hodginian from the City of Montebello come down. The City of West Covina is going to recognize, or has recognized for a number of years, the Armenian Genocide Day, Armenian Remembrance Day, and it's April 24th, I believe, 2012 is this year, but we just want to give you a chance to talk about it. I know you have a large Armenian community in the City of Montebello, and you have the memorial there. Jack.
Thank you, Mayor, and members of the council. We will honor the memory of the victims of the Armenian Genocide. It's the 97th anniversary, which is an event in history that the United States has still not taken a position on. And we know that the government of Turkey actively denies what took place. They call it a civil war, but it was an act of genocide. I'm the grandchild of a genocide survivor. And for years growing up, I was told stories that were shared from members of my family. Just my extended family alone, I've lost over 31 members to the genocide. And, it may seem like a long time, but if we don't recognize what happened and correct the history books, who says something like this can't happen again? It was a dark chapter in world history, and I thank the West Covina Council for honoring the memory and taking a stance. So I really appreciate that.
Thank you, Jack. If you can come over here, we can get a... Thank you, Jack. If we can have Shannon Yahtzee please come forward. On April 21st, we're having Earth Day at the West Covina Farmers Market. I'm just going to call you Jack. Sorry about that. I have two politicians in the room today from other cities. But why don't you go ahead and tell us what's happening with Earth Day and what we're doing over at the Farmers Market this Saturday.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Yes, this Saturday at the Farmers Market, Glendora and Lakes, we're having our Earth Day event. We're going to have a lot of booths with information and educational events for children and families, along with the Farmers Market. We're going to have some food waste collection demonstrations and some other things for the kids. Also, Saturday, we're having electronic waste roundup at the city yard, so you can drop off your electronic waste there at no cost. The city collects those for recycling. And also this Saturday is the kickoff for our 5 weeks of green and our cleanup Saturdays throughout the city.
Thank you, Shannon. You can go ahead and stay up here. We have another one for you, I believe. The Tree City USA Award. Shannon?
Yes, thank you. I do have a surprise for the city, and if you want, we'll go over and unveil this. Okay, the city has reached our 30-year goal of Tree City USA. We're one of about 20 cities out of 440 cities in the California to have been Tree City USA for 30 years. So we've also got some growth awards in that, and we're really happy to be able to do this in conjunction with our Earth Day events. Also, the mayor will talk about Arbor Day, which is also this Sunday. We're going to have an event there, and I'd like to present this from the Arbor Day Foundation, our 30-year plaque, to the mayor. Sorry, George. He's the boss.
Thank you. Here you go, Shannon. Also, we have Mike Wallach from our city who handles our tree, and our contractor, Nick, from West Coast Arborists. Why don't you guys stand up? They do a great job for our city.
Mr. Mayor, I wanted to point out that we also received the banner behind us as well, the flag that denotes the 30 years that was provided to us by the foundation as well.
Thank you. And if we can have Geneva Nixon come up from West Covina Beautiful. Geneva. Irene. The City of West Covina is proud to proclaim Arbor Day April 22nd, and we'll be at the event Sunday at Walmarado Park. Well, I shouldn't say where it's going to be. You guys have to do that. We're proud of the City Council and the city to recognize Arbor Day. So why don't you go ahead and tell us about your event, Geneva?
Well, thank you very much for the proclamation, and I am very proud that the city of West Covina has been a tree city for 30 consecutive years. And one of the requirements to becoming a tree city is that we hold an annual Arbor Day observance. And West Covina Beautiful is very pleased to assist the city in fulfilling that requirement. And we're so proud of the support that the city has given us for our Arbor Day activities. This year we'll be honoring 3 persons: Richard Kinsler, Kenneth Chappelle, and Ray. You are Rita. I may have given him the Irish pronunciation of that. It's a very difficult one for me too. But we really appreciate all the support that Barbara Briley and the maintenance department has always given us. Thank you.
Thank you. If you can come over here, Irene and Geneva.
Geneva wanted me to mention. Go ahead. All right. She wanted me to mention, in conjunction with this, we have a poster art contest for high school students. This is our 32nd year of having the poster contest in conjunction with the Arbor Day program. And the primary purpose of this is to give the students an opportunity to become a part of this reduce, reuse, and recycle. And we have a nice turnout, and there will be several of these posters posted down there at Arbor Day on the fence. They'll be the finalists. They won't be first, second, third yet, but they'll be finalists. So if you're down there, be sure to look at the posters. The kids do a super job. Thank you.
Thank you. If you can come over here. So we can get a photo. You guys got a full back?
Ladies, can you look taller or cover my
Thank you. And now we're going to recognize our police department, our K-9 handlers. We're going to have Police Chief Frank Wills come down. We haven't called you yet, Joe.
Have Nick Franco and Joe Serrano come down. Look at these beautiful animals, ladies and gentlemen. Aren't they neat? Thank you for this opportunity, Mr. Mayor. You know, West Covina really has a very proud tradition of having an outstanding police canine program. Our retired canine handler, Brad Smith, is probably the most well-respected guy in the whole entire United States. He's a board member of the National Tactical Officers Association. But these two animals and their handlers did some outstanding work 5 or 6 months ago. There's an organization called the National Police Canine Association. And every quarter, they give one award, sometimes two, for the Western United States. California, Washington, Oregon. And once in a while, we've won that award at a quarterly level, but never before in the history of this organization have two animals from the same agency, and we're talking about the Portlands, Seattles, sheriffs, LAPDs, the San Diegos of the Western United States, never have two canines from the same agency won this national award for the same quarter until West Covina did it a few months back. I just want to quickly tell you what these officers did, and they do great stuff. I mean, every week these dogs are directly involved in an arrest. Nick Franco, who is on my left, your right, who's also the 2011 West Covina Police Officer of the Year, back in July of 2011, a very violent armed robbery had occurred in the city of Walnut. The sheriffs chased him into our city. This armed robbery suspect escaped into a residential neighborhood, and Rocco and Nick Franco were able to do a neighborhood search and find the suspect hiding in some bushes. And the dogs were brave too, because unlike a lot of suspects, this armed robbery suspect decided to attack the dog. The dog won, and suspect was taken into custody. About the same time, maybe about a difference in 30 days, there was a suspect wanted by every law enforcement agency in the state of California. Okay, he was listed as armed and dangerous. The vehicle he was driving had an armed and dangerous want on it. This guy was involved in dealing not just handguns and rifles, but other types of dangerous weapons. Again, everybody in the state was after this guy, and lo and behold, this guy made a mistake. He rolled into our nice, quiet suburb here in West Covina. And he was seen, and after a short pursuit, this guy got out and went and tried to hide in a residential neighborhood. And because of the heightened concern over this suspect, we had to shut down the whole neighborhood, tell everybody in the neighborhood to stay inside their homes, keep traffic out of the area. We really didn't know where he was at. And what Rambo did, he went up to a wall and could sniff the suspect through a brick wall, who was on the other side of the wall in a shed. And this suspect and his partner decided to fight too, and that arrest was effective. And so a pretty significant accomplishment by our police canine program and these two officers and their animals, and I think they deserve another nice round of applause.
Joe, on behalf of the city, West Covina and the City Council, is pleased to recognize you, Officer Joe Serrano, and Rambo. Rambo, congratulations for winning the quarterly award for the National Police Canine Association. Not with your teeth, but congratulations, Joe. And Nick, likewise, the City of West Covina, the City Council is pleased to recognize Officer Nick Franco and Rocco. They don't listen to other people, so on receiving the quarterly award for National Police Canine Association. Congratulations to you two also, Nick. And also, this is from the National Police, the patrol case of the quarter. This is for the Canine Organization, the West Coast Region. We're proud to recognize Nick Franco and Rocco once again. Congratulations. And Joe Serrano also, once again, congratulations to you and Rambo. Next, if we can have Bob Cruz, the Public Affairs Manager of the gas company, please come down. He's going to be making a presentation. Jack also happens to be the President of Charter Oak Unified School District, Board of Trustees, or whatever you are temporarily. You've been there forever, sir. Is it on? Is that on?
Council, staff, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Bob Cruz.
Can you guys hear?
Hello.
Yep.
There we go. Thank you. Again, my name is Bob Cruz, the Public Affairs Manager for the gas company. Mayor Tui, members of the council, staff, ladies and gentlemen. We're here this evening to give you a brief overview of the gas company's advanced meter. I know on your agenda it says smart meters. Ours is the advanced meter. And we have a presentation we'd like to take you through. And with me this evening is Paul Simons. He's our Senior Outreach Communications Advisor for the project, and I'm going to have him kind of lead you through this, but I will stay up here and help answer questions. So, Paul?
Perfect. Thank you, Bob. I appreciate that. Bob can take the arrows for me, so that's good. If we can go to the next slide. Thank you so much. Back in 2010, the California Public Utilities Commission mandated that the gas company move forward with a similar project that you may be familiar with on the electric side. The electric side has pursued a smart meter program. Essentially, that's automatically reading the electric meters. The gas company is moving forward with similar technology, although ours is very different. For the last couple of years, we've been getting our technology in order and making sure that we're ready to move forward, and we are at that point today. Essentially, we are moving to have the gas meters read automatically. The gas meters will be retrofitted with what we'll call a radio. The radio will be installed on the meter itself by gas company employees. Unlike other investor-owned utilities, that work is being done in-house by gas company employees. As the project moves forward, those employees will then have the opportunity to work into the fold in other capacities within the gas company. The radios themselves We'll provide next day gas use information to residents and small business owners, where they will be able to make the decisions internally and amongst themselves how they can conserve the gas use in the home. As a for instance, you will be able to get online and see, okay, I've used X amount of gas, but my gas bill is reaching that $25 threshold. Maybe we don't need to run the heater all night long as a result, and make those determinations in-house. We can move past that, and this is the technology itself. The radio it does not communicate with any other meters. We have one-way communication. Information is only leaving the radio up through a network. Nothing is coming back in. There's no automatic shutoff. We are not reading any appliances in the home or anything like that. The radio itself is just reading how many times the knobs on the dial turn. And that's an important distinction. We're not changing 6 million meters in our service territory, which ranges from Visalia down to the Mexican border. Again, the gas meters themselves will stay put. We're simply adding a radio to the existing gas meter. The radio itself is powered by 2 AA batteries, and I think it's important to know that there is no remote shutoff capabilities with this technology. This is a good graphic to give you an idea of what the project is. The gas meter itself will send the information through a network. The network is a collection of data collector units throughout our service territory. The information is then sent back to the gas company, where we then present the information back to residents on a next day basis. The data collectors, we have 2 potential solutions, either a solar or through AC. It is a piece of infrastructure that's installed on poles throughout our service territory. The network is comprised of 4,000 of these data collectors, and in the city of West Covina, we're moving to install about 24 or so. We've worked very closely with staff and look forward to continuing that work with staff to identify the locations of these data collectors so that we can have the network installed in the area here so that the meters in the city of West Covina can be adequately and accurately read. The information is sent through the network, as I alluded to, received back at the gas company, and then we present it back to residents on that next day basis, where they can then make the decisions in the home or at the small business level to determine where they would like to make the savings. In the city of West Covina, we are moving to install radios on meters in early next year. So we are moving to get the network installed in this city sooner rather than later. And again, we look forward to the continued relationship with staff to get the network in place. The radios themselves, as I said, will be installed early next year, and then we'll move throughout our service territory thereafter. We have 2 outreach, pillars that we should note from a network standpoint. If we're installing any pieces of equipment anywhere near residents, we'll make sure that residents in the area are adequately informed. And then from a install the radio on the meter standpoint, we have a multi-pronged approach. So 90 days from the installation at the home or the small business level, we will be spending time before residents, before you folks and other community events. And then, as you can see, we have a 60, 30, and day of approach. From there, Bob and I are here to answer any questions that you may have about the project, and we will continue to, again, work with you and staff here at the city to make sure you are informed and aware of the project as we move forward. And we're happy to answer any questions that you may have here this evening.
Does any council members have any questions? Staff? The one concern I know we're going to have come up, as always, because I don't think people understand the technology, you're going to have to build what you call them communication towers or whatever. They're going to call them cell phone towers.
Right. The technology is very different. We're not necessarily installing anything that looks like cell towers at all. We have a couple of different solutions installing poles that would look like utility poles or light poles in the city. We can also look at maybe existing poles that are in the city that we can attach our equipment to. So there are a couple of different solutions, and as we continue to work with staff, we'll work through those as they arise.
I just want to bring it up because, like I said, it does get brought up quite a bit, not understanding that if you look at the top of some Edison lights, they have the same systems on top of their lights currently.
Right.
And people, Verizon Wireless across from Mr. Davis's house from Mo the Chimp, Verizon has the ability to put cell phone towers in residential areas without public hearings because they have the exemption from the utility that they are. So I just think it's unique. I know Blanca, that concerned Blanca.
Mayor Tui, if I could.
Absolutely, Bob.
Just real quick. That's part of the reason your staff has been great to work with. Chris Freeland, Shannon Yautsy, in terms of sitting down with us and doing field visits to, in terms of the location of the data collection units. We work closely with staff to address some of those concerns. That's something we want to do is work with each community. We have 240 some cities in our service territory, and we're meeting with all our cities. And so working with staff and coming to a council meeting and educating the council members. And as Paul said, we're going to do some community outreach, community forums, some informational type meetings so as we move forward. But the key piece is working with staff to really look at some potential sites and work closely with staff with the sensitivity that you just raised that in some communities it may raise a few questions. But we're ready to answer them. I'm going to be your point of contact, and Paul will be your point of contact moving forward.
I was just making a point because they come up with numbers. We only have 35 total cell phone towers, but places like McDonald's, which has their own network system, they have, if you look at the top of their buildings and all gas stations, they have their own satellite dishes because they communicate on a protected line, which is pretty much are talking to like McDonald's communication people only. Right. So I'm saying to process credit cards at gas stations, that same systems have to be used. And I know people don't understand it, but if you look, every gas station has at least 2 satellite dishes on it. One for lottery, one for when you scan your thing. Anyone who has lottery has a satellite dish, which is a communication system for the state of California to do lotto tickets.
Right.
Thank you guys very much.
Thank you very much.
That's the last of our presentations. Bruce Leinbach is the first speaker, and Dr. Luis Perez is on deck. Bruce?
Thank you, Mayor. I want to announce about our Lions Club. I've been a member many years. The Lions Club has been in the city over 52 years. And our big fundraiser is the 42nd Annual Night in the Town. It's a movie. I think a lot of you people have been there. I think last year we had about 800 people there. And it's a great event. Now, like I say, it's Night in the Town. Bring empty stomachs. We have about 18 different restaurants there, like Gonzales Market, TGIF, Buffalo Wild Wings, a couple pizza restaurants, Baskin Robbins, for you people who like ice cream, low-cal ice cream. And but it's a great event. And our master of ceremony, as far as I know, is Andy. He's a Lion. Or Councilman Fred Sykes a Lion too. Isn't former Councilman Brad McFadden he's going to try to entertain us? So come for a lot of laughs and a lot of fun. But like I say, last year our movie, through all our different, we have like a silent auction, and our movie last year we netted almost $30,000. And like I say, this goes to a lot of different things like American Cancer Society, Boy Scouts. I think we give about $3,500, $4,000, or how much do we give for eye testing in the West Covina School District? Was it about $5,000, Fred, you know? How much should we give for, but we give a lot of money to a lot of different sources. And so I got some flyers here. The cost is $25, and it's on Wednesday, May 23rd, right after your last, I think it's your last meeting of the month. It's going to be right after that. So come and celebrate it. It's going to be a lot of fun, and it's a great event. And I'll pass out some flyers. And I do have some tickets here. I left most of my tickets at home, but also if you want to buy any tickets, you can always come by and get them from Andy or call Fred Sykes up. They got tickets for you too. So help us out with our big fundraiser, and it's going to be a great event. And let's make this the most fun event too. raise money and have fun. That's what it is. Have fun and have a good time. Thank you, folks.
And Bruce, what service club is that again?
Pardon?
What service club?
I forgot.
Rotary or?
Rotary. There's Fred Sykes. He got some tickets there, too. So, and he's got a bunch in his office. So, need your help. I'll pass him some of these flyers up.
Thank you very much. We got Dr. Luis Perez, and we have Karen Armbrust on deck. Doctor?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. City Council, staff, thank you for the time to speak to you today. As you know, we have resumes in front of you, and I'm interested in the position. I figured I'd show up today to give you a couple of highlights so you can put a name to a face. I come to a lot of these meetings, see a lot of what occurs. A couple of the highlights I wanted to bring out was, as a naval officer and as a senior naval officer, I have many people in charge, well over 100 with the resource staff to go with it. Doing it for a long time. So I know how to manage people and resources. Secondly, I see what happens when you come to some of these meetings and how hot they can get, and I've seen it multiple times. I deal with the public every day as a business owner. It's not easy, and I'm sure you know that. But more importantly, who are you going to choose from? You have 25 to pick from, I believe. And what's going on with this country and with this city council in terms of the budgets that you have to deal with and the restraints, it's tough, and I know. I deal with it every day in my business. Who are you going to pick? Somebody who has leadership and fortitude and a proven track record? Mine spans 20 years. It's proven. I hope that that's what you pick from, and I hope that's what you look for in the next person, so we can bring the city to a better place and have it be what it used to be, the best of the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Karen Armbrust, and then we have Greg Tuttle. If we can clap at the very end when everyone's done speaking so we can keep it going, I greatly appreciate that. And Greg Tuttle's on deck, wherever Greg. Thank you.
Hello, Mayor and council members. I'm here hoping to be appointed to council. I served on council last year due to an opening. I was appointed because I was next in line with the most number of votes, 2,400. In that year, I had the pleasure of accepting awards on behalf of the city and presenting awards. I was also on the San Gabriel Valley Council of Governance and learned a lot. I have lived in West Covina for 43 years, and to be able to make decisions for my family and the residents was a great honor. My family and I have a servant's heart. My husband is a firefighter for Pasadena, and my dad and brother are retired deputy sheriffs. My mom is a volunteer here for SHOP program with the West Covina Police. In this past election, I was a close second to Councilmember Sykes. Again, I am next in line for the appointed position. So I've already been trained and can easily step in and do the job. I have the support of 2,900 residents who voted for me. I feel I worked well with staff and my colleagues. It would be a great honor to serve again, and I know these times are tough, but I feel we can get through them with strong leadership. I hope you consider me the best candidate. Also, too, I wanted to say if we could please close the meeting out for one of my dear friends, Coach Mel Eaton. He was survived by his wife, Linda. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Karen. We have Greg Tuttle next, and John Shoemaker on deck. John?
Good evening, Council. Good evening. First of all, I have a book. It's the Idiot Book of Redevelopment for all the people that want to understand redevelopment and how it works, because a lot of the city councils think that the people aren't intelligent about redevelopment. And when I spoke up here at the last meeting, I was informed I didn't speak correctly. Well, we do know you're about $1.2 billion in bond money issued. Now you have tax increments that come in to pay that off. Hopefully that comes in to pay those off. And we don't know what the state's going to do yet. But Chris Norby made a very intelligent book here. I'd be more than happy to copy it off for anybody that's uneducated with redevelopment. It's a very easy step-by-step. The one page is follow the money. And it shows you exactly how the redevelopment thing has been staged. And what one of the stages is, we draw a wish map. And that's a redevelopment map, which brings into the thing, this is going to be our redevelopment area. Then you start to use the redevelopment. The city starts using money out of their general fund, loaning the redevelopment money, which I still, to this day, I can't figure out how that's done, because you're not a bank. But you loan on a sign of a piece of paper, you owe me money. Just like you guys, I think about $28 million the redevelopment owes you, 24, give or take. I haven't done a lot of studying on that. I do know other cities, okay? What I'm getting at is these deferred monies and everything else that you're doing here was misused. And a lot of bad redevelopment decisions were made. And what I can't understand is you keep talking about the other council members, the old timers. Well, Mike, you've been in it 18 years. Mr. Herford's been in 22 years. And Ms. Sanderson's been in 11 years. I don't know how many more years you got to go back. There's been a lot of errors made and need to be a lot of changes made. The other thing is I want to bring in this flyer that got sent out. That's totally ridiculous what that recall was about. It was about you three people. It had nothing to do with the police department, the fire department, or the service of the fire department or anything else. And I can't believe that that was staged. That was a blatant lie. And then to come out here with a city manager writing this letter that we're in great shape in 2011. Now, some of the things that the state controller, which everybody can go, I get 5 minutes, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The state controller, this is 2010, so you can go on the internet under California State Controller, and you can pull up what the cities pay all their individuals. I'll just top off a few of the high pays. We got police chief at $205,000, police captain at $185,000 to $218,000. We got lieutenants at $159,000 to $175,000. We got 4 assistant fire chiefs from $239,000 up to $254,000. This is $100,000. We got fire captains $150,000. Now this is the one I really like is assistant city manager $194,000, city manager $286,000, deputy city manager $129,000, executive assistant city manager $65,000. How many city manager things you need? It's really not that big a city. I'm sorry. We got one over in Baldwin Park where my business is, and seems to do just fine. I think a lot of cuts need to be done. Now, I don't know what you guys did on your cuts. Like I said, I haven't been into the public request here, so I'm not admitting to knowing everything of what's going on currently at this time. But I think what needs to be done is you guys need to start doing more of taking the blame. The redevelopment did happen under you guys' watch. It was done wrong. Also, the park up there, the baseball park, where you guys did Field of Dreams. It's a field of money pit. It's not making any money. It's losing the city money. And everybody had a good ideal, but it didn't pan out the way it was supposed to pan out. So I think that you owe the citizens an explanation why you're spending these monies, why these people are being
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor,
paid.
the speaker see there 5 minutes.
You got to wrap it up.
I'm
Greg.
sorry. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. John Shoemaker and Alan Carrico on deck. John? Alan? Where are we?
Tonight, the City Council is scheduled to select a new member. It will be interesting to see who they select. Whoever they select, I hope they will not fall in line with, shall I say, the rather unique way of stating the truth that comes from some members of the City Council about the financial condition of our city. As I speak about the financial condition of our city, if you may bear with me, I'd like to give you a little of my background. I've worked in accounting and finance for 30 years, specializing in turnaround or distressed situations. I've held positions at the top level in industry. I have an MBA, CMA, CPA. What does all this mean? I'm not just a regular person shooting off my mouth. I've been educated and licensed by the state of California to shoot off my mouth. I hope when some members of the council say we have a healthy $29.6 million in reserves, the new member of the council will ask, if we have almost $30 million in the bank, why did we borrow $10 million to pay our expenses? Doesn't make sense. When someone on the council says our budget is balanced, I hope the new person will say, how is it balanced if our expenses exceed income, and why do we have to use reserves? When some on the council say others want to close our police and fire department, they will say, stop making stuff up. When they say the county will close stations and reduce services, they will ask for the report, as no one has seen it, and I don't even know who wrote it. Some on the council say we have not mismanaged the city's finances. They will ask why have the city's assets dropped approximately $50 million since 2008, and debt increased $15 million since 2008. When some on the council say that the state and the economy has caused our problems, they'll ask why did we spend more than we received 8 out of the last 10 years. I believe looking at budget documents, the only time we didn't have a budget gap was 2006, 2007, both those years. And when someone on the council says we're the most business-friendly city in Los Angeles County, they will say we should be. We've given developers millions of dollars, and looking at the financial statements, we still owe developers. In 2010, we owed them $3.2 million, and in 2011, we owed them another $3 million, which was an increase of $3.1 million over the previous years, which, if you add those up, comes around about $9 million. And most importantly, when the subject of the Hill and open space comes up, they will ask, if we are so financially sound, why did Council Member Herford say, we need the money? I don't know. Oh, I almost forgot one thing. I know how we have websites and everybody on the council loves to brag about, when there's a new Barney's Burger Barn opens, it makes headlines and everything else. But I've heard that over at Eastland, there's going to be a super Walmart going in. I'd just like to know if that's true, because I haven't heard anything. I mean, you look at websites and they have Waba Grill and tobacco and more, but not a word about a new super Walmart. Thank you.
Thank you very much, John. We have Alan Carrico next and Lola Finley. Lola, you're next on deck.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of the council. It's good to see everybody. I'm Alan Carrico. You all know me pretty well. I've had the good fortune for the last 11 years to serve on Community Services Commission, and the last 3 or so years to be on the Planning Commission, and I've had the distinct honor and the high privilege for the last year to be chairman of that commission. Tonight, I know you have 25 people before you all looking to fill that chair right there. That's a lot of people to look at. In my opinion, though, I think the best of the best are my current 4 colleagues on the Planning Commission. I think that's where you should focus your attention respectfully. So when we're talking about the best of the best, then who is the best of the best of the best? I respectfully submit to you it's Rob Sotelo. And let me tell you why. For these last 11 years, I've had the privilege of working with Rob on community services, planning, and Rob is an individual of impeccable qualities. He has unwavering dedication to this city. I don't know anybody who has done more for this city, and he's done it for a lot longer than I have. And he has been on Sports Council, which, as we all know, is an absolutely thankless job. But he has done that so well and brought this city together to take care of our youth. And everything Rob ever does for this city is for the benefit of all of the citizens here before us tonight. And respectfully, I think he is the best person to fill that position. We are in a position right now in this city where we're going to face some financial crises, just like City of Vallejo, Stockton, everybody else. We're moving up that ladder too, and it's pretty scary. And we need to have people sitting at this dais who are independent thinkers with logic, reasoning skills, who know what's best, who know how to make hard decisions. And all 4 of my colleagues on planning can do it. But I have to be honest and intellectually honest with you. I think the best one for this city is Rob Sotelo. He and I have been on these commissions before, and we don't always agree. We respectfully disagree at times, and I've always respected his opinion, even when we disagree. That's the kind of person you need up there with you for the rest of this term. I think Rob is the best. I support Rob. In respect to my other 3 colleagues, they're all great. You can pick any one of them, and they do fine. But the best of the best of the best, in my opinion, is Rob Sotelo, and I hope that's where you go tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Alan. Lola is next, and then we have Jane Apodaca. will be on deck. Jane? Go ahead, Lola.
Hi, I just wanted to make a comment about the police, but now I'm even more confused. I thought from all the ads that we were thinking about, you guys were thinking about subcontracting the police. Is that true? Is it not true? You guys need to let the citizens know whether it is or is not true. I mean, all these games you guys are playing, the last time I spoke, it's ridiculous. You guys are acting like children. Grow up. The police department is very important. The fire department is very important. I've lived in West Covina for 25 years. I grew up in Valinda. The thought of us going county is ridiculous. Look at every city who is county. They have drugs, they have gangs, they have tagging. My mother lived in Valinda for 50 years, had to move because of drug problem. Someone got killed on a street. It took the police, many came, but it took them 35 minutes to come. Someone was tagging on a wall, midday, I called the police. It took them 55 minutes. It's ridiculous that we're even thinking about it. Get your budget in order. I don't know who's best for the job. Someone that knows how to add and subtract would be really good, but let's just get the goddamn job done. And I'm sorry, I'm just so sick of this gameplay. Michael, my kid was in elementary when you were in office. You guys cannot say someone else did this. And I don't even know everything. It's just ridiculous just watching it. You guys need to think as the citizens. The police department, the fire department are who take care of us. Get their budget your budget under control. If we need, I've talked to police. They're willing to work, do something. They're willing to negotiate. There is no reason why we should not be able to resolve this. And if you can't do your job, step down and hire some of these men that are up here. We got a CPA, we got a doctor. I know they can think. I know they can follow through. They're running businesses, and I don't even know who you guys are. But get your goddamn act together or step down.
And Lola, you just asked the question. We did have a vote here approximately 3 meetings ago whether we to go out and get county bids, and it was a split 2-2 vote. So it did come up to get county fire bids. Sheriff's Department, you do not need to get a vote of the council.
You guys have to explain it. A lot of residents don't understand what the county means. They don't understand how long the response time is going to be. Right now they're thinking about dollars. Right now Brown wants to raise taxes. You know what? I don't want to pay any more taxes. Get your budget in order without raising taxes. Learn how to cut right now. Learn to live within the means that you guys are making. If you can't, step down, because we cannot go to the county. We need to keep our police officer and fire department here. We need to not lose that. You know, we're going to get gangs, we're going to get drugs, and we're going to get graffiti. I know. I was raised in Valinda. I know what happens. And I remember when we had the opportunity to be annexed by West Covina. And I bet every resident, including my parents, who didn't vote for it because they didn't want their taxes to go up, really regrets it. So you guys, and the other thing, those flyers, I mean, when you hear it, this is why I'm here. I'm seeing the flyers in South Hills. I live right there by Gingrich and off of Temple. When I see those signs driving, I'm like, oh my God. And I talked to Fred Stikes, and he said, you guys are thinking about doing it. You know, you guys need to explain what you guys are doing. And you guys need to not go to the county.
I just want to make sure we need to emphasize, I voted against getting the county bid. So did Councilman Steve Herford for the fire service. We voted against doing that.
But you know what? And that's fine, but financially, if we can't afford them, the citizens are going to vote to go county. So you need to get your budget in order. If we need to work on the pay, from what I understand, you're going to have a huge amount of them retiring. Correct. So we need to, the new people, when they come in, we need to work on their pay. We need to work on the amount that they're paying towards their retirement. If we can't afford to give them what they're earning, then we need to cut back. If they're retiring at 55, then maybe we need to raise the retirement limit. If we're doing the double dipping where they retire and then they come back and work and they're getting benefits, we can't afford that. Look at your numbers, and we need to stop doing the same old, and expecting a different result. I mean, it's ridiculous. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Lola. I agree. If we can have Shirley Buchanan next, and then Jane, I may have met. Jane Apodaca is right now, and Shirley Buchanan is on deck. I'm sorry. Sorry, Shirley.
Good evening, Mayor, council members, and staff.
My name is Jane Apodaca, and I have been resident of West Covina over 14 years. I am the president of the Homeowners Association for the Courtyard of South Hills, and I am here tonight to express my support of Gloria Gallardo for the vacant city council spot. She was instrumental in having the fire department provide a presentation emergency preparedness to my condo complex, which is comprised of senior citizens. This presentation proved to be a lifesaver when we had a fire breakout this morning in one of our condos. The homeowner was 95 years old, and thankfully there was no injuries. Again, had Gloria not assisted me with emergency preparedness, the results could have been substantially worse. She is very dedicated to our community and has the lightest ethical standards. She would be an asset to the council as well as the community of West Covina. And I also believe that Gloria is a woman of integrity, virtue, dignity, knowledge, wisdom, and grace. In this one person reside all the desirable characteristics and questions of a woman, a mother, a grandmother, and a God-fearing person. And I thank you.
Thank you very much. And I went by there this morning when you had all the fire trucks there. That was scary. Shirley Buchanan next, and Philip Marino's on deck. Phil?
Good evening, Mayor Toohey and members of the council. Is it a correct statement that when a voter steps into the voting booth to elect a council person, board of supervisors, state and federal office holder, that the voter believes that their representative will uphold the duties of their office, say what they mean, and mean what they say, and when they agree to an item related to the city or vote on an agenda item, that there will be follow-through? I bring this up because for the past 2 years, and this is my 3rd year at the podium, I have come to the podium and asked for an annual report on Big League Dreams. And in June of 2011, when I made that request, Mayor Pro Tem Toohey, at the time, asked the city manager if the city could provide an annual report. Mr. Pasmat responded yes. With that request from Toohey and the acceptance by Mr. Pasmat, I assumed it was going to be done. As of April 17, 2012, there has been no distribution by the city of an annual report on Big League Dreams as to revenue, bond indebtedness, payments on the bond, and expenses at Big League Dreams. The annual report could be something very much like a corporation's annual report to their stockholders, as we, the citizens, are the stockholders in this city. The residents of West Covina are entitled to the annual report every year so that they can understand if Big League Dreams is paying for itself. Sure, the residents can try to decipher the info in the budget each year, but that's not going to happen. The next item of my concern is the council's approval in 2011 when the motion by Mayor Toohey and approved by the majority of the council that the residents will begin to get real-time information about each council meeting via streaming. There was a suggestion by a member of the public at the podium that the Planning Commission meeting be covered via streaming, also in real time. I am not aware that any work has started beyond the vote. Shouldn't the residents expect their council members to make sure the city staff are following through on what the council voted to do? Another item is how soon will the soccer league get their field at the old Orangewood Little League field? I believe this council approved the work at least 3 years ago. If there is no money, let the residents know so that they may be able to make the Field of Dreams a reality by joining together to have functions to raise money for the work. It's a very commendable cause. Lastly, I would like to give the council a big thank you, and don't fall over in a faint. for the McIntyre project on Citrus and the freeway. It is beautiful and a wonderful improvement to that blighted shopping center. I wish the McIntyres success in getting the store and the offices leased. Thank you.
Thank you, Shirley. Phil Marino, and then we have Lloyd Johnson on deck. We'll take care of that after. Andy. Mr. Raymond.
Council
Hey,
members,
go ahead, sir.
city staff, and members of the community, I have two topics that I'd like to address. The first one is I was given 10 yes on the recall signs. I gave to my neighbors 9 of them. In the last week, 7 of those 9 signs have disappeared in the middle of the night. So what I'd like to address is theft of political signs in West Covina. The First Amendment to the Constitution guarantees the citizens of West Covina the right to free speech or to place a political sign in their front yard. But supporters of 3 of the council members who have been served with recall papers have been stealing the recall yes signs from West Covina citizens' front yards. I would expect all city council members to be the first people in our city that should guarantee the constitutional rights of all West Covina citizens. If the 3 West Covina council members cannot get their supporters to stop this illegal behavior of stealing political signs, then all the more reason for them to be recalled. Second topic. This is I received a flyer a week ago last Friday, and because of that flyer, I approached the fire department of LA County, and I have attached to my question. I went to Engine Company 29 on Los Angeles Street in Baldwin Park, and when they saw the flyer, the paramedic there said, "Hogwash, don't go to the fire department, go to our union." So here's what I asked of the fire department. That the second page is a response from LA County's firefighters union members. I have attached a photocopy of a political mailer that was mailed to registered voters in the city of West Covina. The mailer makes the following statements about the Los Angeles County Fire Department. Number 1, the county will take over and close 2 fire stations. The second statement in that flyer was paramedics will take longer. Response times will increase by over 25%. 1 or 2 minutes longer could cost you your life or home. Can you afford that? That mailer was sent out by an organization titled West Covina Residents Against Recall of Members Hereford, Sanderson, and Toohey. I would like a written response from the LA County Fire Department. In this case, the response, like I said, came from the firefighters union. I would like a response to 3 questions. Did the LA County Fire Department make the 2 statements that are attributed to them in the mailer that registered voters in West Covina received? The second question, does the LA County Fire Department agree with the 2 statements attributed to them in the political mailer? And the third one, on what basis can the West Covina Residents Against Recall of council members Hereford, Sanderson, and Toohey make those 2 statements? I'm a registered voter who is a homeowner in the city of West Covina, and I'm trying to determine whether the statements made in the political mailer are facts or conjecture. Well, their response is here. Dear West Covina citizens, dated April the 16th of 2012, from the LA County Firefighters Local 1014. Recently, mass mailings have been distributed in West Covina that contained factual misstatements that require clarification from LA County Firefighters Local 1014. While we are publicly addressing this issue, we are not and will not support any candidate or a recall effort in West Covina. We do not have jurisdiction for fire services in West Covina. And underlined, it says, to date, there has never been a station closure as a result of a city annexation to the County of LA. In fact, most, if not all, cities that have merged with our fire department have seen a dramatic decrease in response times. The most basic concept of these mergers is to allow the closest station to respond to basic emergencies. When cities can now use fire stations on their borders to respond to the city, response times decrease. While there are 8 agreements in place for large-scale emergencies, daily basic fire and paramedic calls are the responsibility of each agency. Similarly, paramedic services have improved after annexation as well. Again, our regional coverage of daily emergencies allows for better handling of multiple calls than independent agencies with less backup resources at their disposal. The LA County Fire Department has a long and proud history of serving independent cities with excellent response times, quality emergency care, and an ability to respond to any size emergency, no matter number or type of resources needed. Misstatements about the quality of our care or the effectiveness of our responses are not appreciated and will be immediately addressed by our union. I'd like to make a statement. The West Covina Fire Department saved my father-in-law when he had a stroke. And if you think I want to get rid of my fire department, your flyer is a misstatement of what I stand for. I would pay for a utility tax to keep my fire and police department. That is not what this recall is about. My daughter was at home when she heard noise in the house. She called West Covina. 45 seconds later, there were 7 cops in my house. So stop using my firemen and my policemen for your political agenda.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Lloyd Johnson, and Royal Brown is on deck.
Wow. Good evening, Mayor Turi, council members. At the last meeting's agenda on 4/3/2012, there was an item number 8 by Mayor Pro Tem Sanderson, use of art in public places funds for the Veterans Wall. When you talk about art in public places, you will never find a more beautiful piece of art than the Veterans Wall in West Covina at the City Hall when it is completed. It will be a place every West Covina resident will be able to spend time and enjoy this great piece of art, which is a symbol of those who paid the ultimate price for their country. Everyone who visits this great piece of art will be very proud of it. I hope it is brought up at another meeting to be talked about. There has been a lot of problems raising the money for the wall, and it would be great if we could get this project moving forward. Next, tonight this council has to make a decision on picking a council member. I would hope each of you have read all the letters that were turned in and make a decision that the residents of West Covina can agree with you. I hope you will make a decision not on friendship, but on the best person for the job, someone that wants to take the leadership position. Someone who will decide on any item on its merits and not because it may help one group or another. Someone that has been very active in our city and tried to do the things that they feel are in the best interests of our city and its residents. Someone who will help this council get our city back on the right track. There has been very too much negative things happening in our city. Each of you council members are up there because you had a desire and passion to get involved and attend the council meetings and talk about the things you felt needed to be changed in our city. You all had issues with some things you didn't like that was happening in our city. You had the desire to want and change these problems. You didn't stand in the background and let other residents do the talking for you. You took the leadership position. You know, it's easy to say you want to help our city move forward because there is an empty seat on our council. But most of the residents who sent letters in haven't even attended our council meetings, so to let us know where they stand on any issue in our city. But there are a few residents who sent letters in that have been involved with our city government process in different ways. They haven't always agreed with you on every issue, but the passion is there. The residents need this council to do something they can't agree with you on and say you made the right decision, or at least they will keep an open mind and watch and see if this was the right person. Everyone knows the decision this council made last time when you picked a replacement for ex-council member Hernandez. It was a wrong decision. A wrong decision will only inflame the residents even more. Good luck. We're all watching and hoping you make a right decision. Last, I have 2 questions for this council on different issues. First, from what I understand, the Crazy Horse has applied for a permit to have the waitresses wear bikinis and have topless dancers. The next question. Since there has been an oversight committee set up to deal with the redevelopment funds with the state and the county, who did Supervisor Molina appoint to represent West Covina? I read they have already scheduled their first meeting. We would like to know, who is representing us in our best interests. Thank you.
Lloyd, on the one issue, we're waiting to find out the Board of Supervisors, even though they say we haven't got our reports in, they haven't appointed anyone as of right now. They were doing it today sometime, so they may, I don't know if their meeting was during the day or at night, so they may have appointed them today, but we're having a meeting Thursday either way.
The paper the other day is that Roy and Molina already picked two.
It has to be confirmed by the Board of Supervisors. Okay, Royal's next, and then Blanca Vinzer is on deck. Blanca. Royal.
Royal Brown Aroma Drive. I'd like to bring before you item on your agenda number 20. I understand at the start of the meeting there's a revised report. That hasn't been made available to me. I went to the city clerk's office today and got what I'm going to read from. It was titled, page 4, attachment. Successor agency to the West Covina Redevelopment Agency, administrative budget. It has 3 columns, a whole bunch of items. Annual amount, January to June 2012 and July to December 2012. Anticipation litigation. The annual cost is $1,800,000. The January to June is $1,144,000. And according to the staff report, the July-December number is half of the annual amount. Then below that, there's M&O for the Community Development Commission staff, a whole bunch of items for the annual amount, including copies, $5,000. Other M&O costs for included above, some totals on a whole bunch of things like vehicle maintenance and stuff, fuel, $392,206. The other 2 columns, there's no breakdowns. If they have breakdowns, I've been working for many corporations, turned them around because they were not producing their profits or complying with their contracts. One of the things is I know to do is when I go into a corporation to turn it around is to make sure the details are made available. Clearly, the details haven't been made available in this report to the public. Something has been changed and now given to you to work from. The public needs that same information. Pages in front of that were a couple attachments. One was recognized obligations payment schedule. The next one was final recognized obligations payment schedule. Just read for those some 25 or more line items about debt. The total debt, outstanding obligations recognized by the city was $770 million for the city of West Covina's redevelopment. On the final recognized by the staff was the next category. On that page, the total has now been reduced down to $741 million. The city owes an awful lot of money to bondholders. And one of the most interesting ones was the city golf course agreement. We don't have a city golf course in West Covina. But I guess we have a $45 million obligation to some contractor for doing something on city-owned property up at BKK area. And that didn't change. 45 million's on both documents. So there's a lot of things in the pipeline, I guess, that the public doesn't have the details on that's suddenly been available at the city clerk's office. So it's time that we do get these financial documents done right and given to the public the required 72 hours ahead of time. I went to the city clerk's office thinking any last minute of changes would be available the day of the meeting. Nope. I was given the stuff that was in the packet originally. If there was something changed, handed out to you tonight, that should have been handed out to the public too. We got a problem here in West Covina. Our reports aren't done timely and given to the public in a required manner. The state law says anything the city council is to consider is supposed to be available for the city citizens 72
Excuse me, Mr.
hours
Mayor,
before
Speaker,
the
exceed their
meeting.
5 minutes.
Thank you, Royal. Blanca Vincer and Elsie Messman is on deck. Elsie?
Good evening, Mayor and Council members. I'm Blanca Venzer and a resident of West Covina for well over 30 years. I'm here tonight to address Mayor Pro Tem Sanderson, who on the last several council meetings that my husband and I have attended has made mention that she is feeling attacked by the constituents. I don't quite understand why that word would be used. The many constituents that speak have not been attacking. They may have obvious different viewpoints than you. I'd like to enlighten you as to the definition of attack, and I quote, is to threaten with force or to assault. Please perhaps consider using another word or terminology when speaking to the constituents. I am absolutely certain that if any speaker was attacking you or others seated on the panel, they would be immediately escorted out by the police who are present. May I remind you, we are demonstrating demonstrating democracy in action. May I also remind you, Mayor Pro Tem Sanderson, that it is your obligation to listen to the constituents' complaints and positive input they bring to this council. Take the comments constructively and not personal, because you were voted in by the people. It is our right to bring our concerns on how to keep this wonderful city of West Covina in high standard. Once again, I am more offended by your disrespect to the constituents, by your mannerisms, disrespect, and comments when you speak. Once again, may I remind you that your job comes with the good, the bad, and the ugly, and you signed up for it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Blanca. We have Elsie Messman next, and Carolyn Arndt on deck. Carolyn? I know she's in there. I forgot where. There she is.
Mayor Toohey, council, staff, and everyone here tonight. I believe in the last month I saw an article in the paper stating the council was going to have a special session regarding 2 employees that filed a lawsuit against the city of West Covina. Roger Hernandez won both lawsuits filed by these 2 employees, plus one I know had to repay Roger Hernandez's attorney's fees. What was the outcome on this lawsuit filed on the city by these 2 employees, and are they going to repay the city for what this lawsuit cost us? After all, it's taxpayers' money. These 2 employees are still employed by this city. Only in the city of West Covina can you sue your employer, keep your job, keep your benefits, while the others are getting laid off. My second question is any West Covina tax dollars being used to subsidize the Walmart supposedly going in at Eastland Shopping Center? We need some answers since there is still no transparency. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Elsie. We have Carolyn Arndt next. Carolyn and Joanne Wilner's on deck. Joanne.
Good evening. I am Carolyn Arndt. I am the chairperson of the West Covina Improvement Association doing a recall. I know it's with great chagrin that we have to always be talking about the sale of the city property within the confines of our civic center without a competitive bid to build a medical building and to sell that for $700,000, which is way below market value. I know that everyone is aware now that you have tried to divert the attention away from that issue because you have absolutely no answer and no clarification and no reason for not addressing the sale of the hill. It is time, as I listen to people, to recognize that the people of this community have lost all faith in you. They are bringing a multitude of issues that have been simmering for a long time. And this hill is just the apex of the whole issue. And you maybe would like to think about stepping down rather than drag the city through this, because there is an injunction that has been placed on you. You are the John Does and the city council. And at some point, it could be more than malfeasance that you're going to have to deal with. And that's worth thinking about, particularly if you have children, that you don't want drugged through that mud. The signs have been addressed as being false that you put up, the green ones, and the goons are taking them down. We're very well aware of that. I think there was one at a liquor store on Pacific. The permission was asked of that owner or manager, could we put a sign there? The sign was placed there. It was taken 4 different times, and a green sign appeared with no permission. That is not what this city should be about, but that is the level to which we have sunk. And it's time for change. We cannot change Washington, D.C. We cannot change Sacramento, but we sure as shooting can save and change West Covina. Thank you.
Thank you, Carolyn. Joanne Wilner and Ray Hernandez is our last speaker. Ray, you will be on deck. Joanne?
Good evening. Regarding item 21, not only should the council consent to the change in when a commissioner gets paid, as recommended by Mayor Toohey, but you should also consider the removal of most benefits that the council itself receives. How can you effectively negotiate with the employee unions on reductions of salaries and benefits if you don't bite the bullet and reduce your own salaries and benefits? Remember, being a council person is an honor and not a position of employment as it appears to be now. I know there are rules that hopefully could be changed that would permit changes to apply to you now and not have to take effect only at the time of your successors or changes in state law. As for the commissioners, a simple resolution by you works to make changes. Please be sure to include, along with no attendance, no pay, that there be no allowable payment waivers for absence, that there are payments made only for scheduled meeting months and only meetings that have not been canceled. Being a commissioner is a civic contribution made to our community. Regarding the council benefits, I hope you will take action to eliminate the tie-in of council benefits to other classes of employees and to consider the council as a separate class not eligible to perks or of others. After which, remove the following perks: health, dental, vision insurance, life insurance that goes beyond time in office, tuition reimbursement, auto allowance per se, supplemental retirement plan, which has been increased to $791 a month, or $9,492 per year, and survivor benefits. For the mandated ones, change will have to be at the state level. That means the public will have to contact their representatives to get council members made ineligible for CalPERS or other retirement benefits. Another expenditure area to eliminate is payment for sitting on other city agencies like Community Development Commission. The employees, known as council members, should not be a part of a negotiating body or be affected by any negotiating group in the city. Item number 23. Having reviewed all the letters from those wishing to fill the council vacancy, I hope you will cast your vote as I would and appoint Corey Warshaw. I observed him all the years he was on the Planning Commission and find him, with his education and employment background, to be the most suitable person for the job. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Joanne. Ray Hernandez is our last speaker for the day.
I'm glad you finally called me. My battery's running out here. Good evening, Mayor Toohey, ladies and gentlemen of the council. What I believe the city of West Covina and its residents need and deserve of an appointee are the following qualities and values. Beginning with number one, an honest desire to serve all residents of West Covina to improve the quality of life for its residents. The passion for their entire community, young and old. A communicator and ability to listen to the people. Transparency. The ability to think on their feet. A team player that can think independently. Prudent with the people's money. Taxpayers' money. The appointee must understand city business without needing a learning time curve. Additionally, must display integrity, leadership, confidence, intelligence. The person who possesses these qualities, and I believe to be, is Herb Rhett Holtz. Herb has earned the right to this appointment by demonstrating his will, learning city business by attending all city council meetings for decades as a community activist and leader, including a position with the Planning Commission. A grassroots candidate with a passion, having walked all neighborhoods of this city to get a pulse of what is needed to improve the quality of life. I urge this council to appoint Herb to this position. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ray. That's all the cards for oral communication. If staff can address some of this, and I don't disagree with some of the ropes report, and we tried to explain to the residents out there, it's going to be an ever-shifting document as the state of California, the county of Los Angeles, and many other governmental agencies reviews it and says what is appropriate to be on there. If you read the form right now, the recall group says it's 1.4 million or 1.4 billion. If you read the document now, what the state of California Department of Finance has stated so far, it's $738 million, so it's dropped in half. It's going to continually to drop as the different agreements, whether they're appropriate to be in there. So you understand what ROPE's report is, and they mentioned the golf course. Any project we were looking at, we had to include with the Department of Finance on AB 26XI, the new legislation of the state of California. We had to include any project we were looking at. And that had to be included in there and the projected cost of that project. The state and the county, we're going to be looking at them. I don't know if we're going to get fully into it on this Thursday's meeting with the oversight board. But we had to submit, and every other city had to submit projects they were looking at and the associated costs, and the state of California and the county of Los Angeles and the city has to look if that's a project they're going to support or not. But you still had to ask for it now, because if you didn't put it in your upfront document, you don't get to add projects later on. It's a very confusing thing. And if you look at it, I know someone said about previous council, I just want to make sure you can read the document for yourself. The Westfield project, which was approved in 1989, if you look at numbers 3, 11, 12, and 24, those are the bond debt associated with the mall project. In 1989, That totals $186 million, $169,492. Okay? That's with the mall project. No one was here on this council in 1989. That is the debt from that project. That's in all the documents, and you see the associated numbers. That's why I said that's 3, 11, 12, and 24, and they correlate and go to that. But we still have an obligation. Any debt the redevelopment agency incurred for the 35-plus years it's been alive goes forward. So do all the pass-throughs. If you understand how redevelopment agencies operate, we have to pay a percentage of our money. There's an actual negotiated percentage that goes to the school districts of West Covina, Covina Valley, Roland Unified, and Mount Sac. Those pass-throughs with the County of Los Angeles comes off the $700+ million debt, by the way. That's $340 million that comes off that agreement. That is, we get the dollar, and we have to pass it through to the other person. It's not a debt of the cities. It's a pass-through agreement because of the way the cities are organized, and it's in the document. I forgot where the pass-through is. It's the real big, it's the biggest one. So,
Number 16 on the list.
I should have brought my glasses. The Lakes project, which was done in 1988, we built the parking structures there. Those debts continue, whether or not any other council member coming up here to sit, you still got to pay the debt. You don't get to waive it and say, I don't approve of the parking structures with the Lakes project. You still got to pay that debt. That debt is approximately $8.6 million moving forward, and that's number 4 and 10 on your document. Number 26 is the golf course. That's $45 million. When you take off the pass-throughs, Westfield, the Lakes, and the golf course, it reduces that from $1.4 billion to $192 million. That is closer. The numbers are still going to be in flux as you work with the state of California. As we made our shifts in our redevelopment agency, we no longer have those workers here. The correlating side to that is the debt to pay for the workers. That has been reduced. That is on the forms, and I'm saying, to this take these forms and say this is a debt, that is not correct. You do not have to keep this. The city of West Covina has the right to give the redevelopment agency to the state of California, and 100% of whatever money is on this goes to the state of California with every asset owned by the redevelopment agency. That's what the city of Los Angeles did. Okay? This is not the city's debt. Okay? I know it's portrayed that way. It's the redevelopment agency, which is a state of California document. And again, the city of LA gave it away. If you see, city of LA gave their 261 employees to the county of Los Angeles with all the debt from that agency. The county of Los Angeles said, no, thank you. They don't want it. And they gave it to the state of California. Okay, that's going to be happening in all this. You're going to see in every other city the exact same thing is being raised, that the numbers are shifting. The numbers will till we find what is being kept and what isn't. There's a bill, I think it's Assembly Bill 1585. The redevelopment debt is being, it's already been approved at the state assembly level to honor the agreement the city of West Covina has with a redevelopment agency. Okay, the big question there that's going to come up is they're only going to allow in that bill that we get 0.4% interest. We currently get 10% interest. That's going to be additional cuts of $1.7 million, regardless of who sits up here. The state of California, if that bill is passed, will not allow the city of West Covina to charge that rate to the redevelopment agency. And that is where the different things are going to keep on happening. But that has been approved at the state assembly level. The loans will be secured. It's going to the Senate right now, where there's been no objections to it, and it will be voted on and signed into law by the governor. But I'm saying that's the $21 million debt, but I'm saying that the redevelopment agency owes to the city of West Covina. All these things, like I said, it is very big numbers, and I don't disagree with Royal. We get the documents. They're changing daily. Every day there's a different opinion that comes out of the Department of Finance. When we get the different opinion from the Department of Finance, we have to adjust this scale every day. We've made 14 adjustments in the last 14 days. Okay? We can't do nothing because it's up to the Department of Finance of the state of California to how they want it reported and what they're going to accept. And they keep on changing it. We change it, and then I know we can't get it out timely no matter what we do because there was other changes made today. And it's just problematic. So I want everyone to know that. The theft of signs, that's happening to the people that are against the recall. And just so you know, and I forgot who brought it up, that shopping center is owned by the McIntyres, okay, at Pacific Avenue. No one can just say that you went and spoke to a renter and said you could put signs on McIntyre's property. That's McIntyre's property, and McIntyre will choose who puts signs on his property one way or the other way. And I believe the McIntyre family has been removing those yes on recall signs from their property they own. You mentioned about people shouldn't put signs, you know, the private people have a right to put up signs. You have a right to put up signs on your property, not someone else's. And I mean, that's only fair. Big League Dreams, if we were supposed to give a report, Andy, to Shirley Buchanan, I don't know why that has not been done. And if we can find out from that. There were some other issues I forgot. Is there any other council members? Councilmember or Mayor Pro Tem Sanderson, then Councilmember Sykes.
Thank you, Mr. Sykes, and I know the city manager has a couple comments. First of all, thank you, Mayor, for explaining the EOPS. I know it's been a difficult road, and you know, we sit here patiently, and we try and listen and want to be respectful and listen to everybody's concerns and try and deal with them in a professional way. And I first would like to explain to the residents here tonight, there was made mention of some flyer with public safety. I have nothing to do with that type of flyer. I did not put the flyer out, but I do have a website, and that is sandersonforwc.com. And on that website does explain where I'm coming from, and I address the issues at hand with backup documentation and PDF files from third parties explaining and showing all what I'm talking about. I also wanted to touch base on the flyer issue, or the sign issue. Being part of politics and involved, that happens on both sides of the issue. I've received calls from residents that say, somebody took signs and put these signs back in my yard, and many, many years ago, my first election that I did run, an opponent's campaign manager was caught stealing my signs by the police department. So it can get interesting. Sometimes kids vandalize the signs, but for somebody to come up here and say and point a blame at the council, I just don't think that's appropriate. I think that regardless, it shouldn't happen, and it's offensive because everybody pays for their signs. I haven't, gotten involved in that with this, and I do hope this moves quickly and does go by quickly, because I believe it's, damaging the community, and that we all, again, like I've said in the past, that we do need to work together. There was a resident that said we owe an explanation on this redevelopment, and the mayor touched on it briefly, and we did just get a new report today that's been adjusted because it's going back and forth with the state, and some of these types of things were from 1983, 1999, and I do, again, on my website explain that there's $375 million that is not debt, but it's tax sharing agreements where we do, like Mayor explained, pass through these agreements through the county, school districts, and other taxing entities. There's $132 million that it wasn't debt. It was projected revenues set aside for mandatory affordable housing. Some of it's for our affordable housing. And, it continues. But lastly, we all need to remember that this is a separate entity. It has nothing to do with our general fund and the funds that do pay for our public safety. A resident came up stating that we do need to talk about managing our budget. Absolutely. I think everybody sitting up here would agree with that. Our biggest budget is our public safety, and there is contracts and negotiations. We can't just say, take this cut or else. It has to all be negotiated. There's union issues and whatnot. So those are a few things I wanted to touch on. And lastly, I wanted also, a resident came up to say something about the Civic Center land. I did not vote to sell that. I believe it did not add to our Civic Center value. And for that to be said, I just wanted to clear that up. And again, thank everybody for coming and trying their best to keep the issues to us so we can understand them and help you the best that we can. So I know, Andy, I think that you had some answers to some of the questions. I think that there was something on the report for BLD, because I think we had talked about that many times. Correct. Okay.
I have council members that want to speak first. Councilmember Sykes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Tui. And I definitely want to say from the bottom of my heart, I am very pleased that we have a crowd at the meetings. I have been here personally some nights at the lower level when I was the only person sitting in the audience. And if you've listened to me as I've spoke to the public in the past, and if you read my mailer, the one mailer that I did send out, I was begging for what we have tonight. Because transparency is not easy to come by. Now, an example of why you need transparency is what was stated tonight about our public safety. When you do not attend city council meetings, it is easy for someone to give you disinformation. Now, the night that the matter of information about our public safety was brought to the front of, we could get information. We can get information from the county. We can get information from our city. It was about information. That's what my fellow council member Sanderson and I voted for, was just simply transparency. Just to get information on what it cost for our public safety as it is right now, and what it costs from various models, whether you have a hybrid or whether you have a county contract. Again, all we wanted and still need, because that's transparency, is information on what it costs to keep our city where it should be. We've enjoyed this public safety that we have, but believe me, it's in danger. And you need the facts so that we can all come to a viable, a sustainable decision to carry us forward. And again, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Councilmember Sykes. Councilmember Herford.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Let me just tag on to that statement that Mr. Sykes just made there. This is the reason why we have confusion with residents. When you ask for a study from County Fire, that's essentially the first step to going county. In 2005, we did a survey of the residents in this city, and 79% were very pleased with our public safety. In 2000, there was an election of the residents where it was overwhelmingly voted that the city wanted to retain our fire department. At the last council meeting, Mr. Marino came up and said 3 of our present council members ignored the city manager's request to ask the county to give a cost estimate for fire services for our city. That leads people to think that this city wants to go county. I and Councilmember Tui voted against going county, and I don't want to live in a city with county fire and county police. I've said that numerous times. I'm clear in my belief because I've been here long enough to know we've had elections where the residents have rejected it. We've had other cities around here that have gone and attempted to go county, and they end up in recalls. They end up in major political battles over it. Public safety, as we all put on our mailers, and information in election is the #1 priority for each of us. And I personally am very clear on the issue, and if there was any misunderstanding, you know where I stand. I want to keep our police and fire departments. The service, and we just saw today what we have is the top canine units in the United States. So I'm very proud of that, and I've been here long enough to know the history, and I don't even think we need to have the debate. As somebody said tonight, we have a $29.6 million reserve that is solidified. What a lot of people don't understand is some of that is in redevelopment money, where we don't draw on that reserve, but we have the redevelopment agency pay us interest back to the city at 10%, and it's a great revenue source. That's going to change with the state.
many of the problems, and you all read it in the newspaper, and you can blame us for it, but many of the problems that the cities and every city in the state of California is facing it. You could read Glendora, El Monte. Every city around here has been hurt by the state of California. And I'll tell you how idiotic some of our state assembly or representatives are, and I'll call out State Assemblyman Roger Hernandez. Today, on the floor, there was a bill that was introduced by him to create districts only in the city of West Covina. It was a specific bill that basically was trying to do what Measure D was proposed to do 2 years ago that was defeated by over 67% of the people in West Covina. He tried to backdoor it and force through the state of California for the city of West Covina to create councilmatic districts in the city of West Covina. Is that what our state legislators are for, to tell us on the local level what we can and can't do? No. This is what our country is founded on. Everybody that got up there and spoke tonight has the right to say exactly what they want because we fought and defended this country for public freedom of speech. And so when we have legislators are doing that kind of stuff to hurt our city, of course we're going to have turmoil because they just will not stop. I think Mike Spence, one of the applicants tonight, and I'll talk about all the applicants when we get to that point, but his belief is get government out of our lives. You know, basically don't introduce stuff that's going to affect our lives. And that, you know, it's true because what we're seeing at the state level now is they want to enter every facet of our lives. So I don't want to talk too much because we got a lot of business tonight, but I do believe that the misinformation, I mean, it from my seat, it's not there. Public safety is staying.
I concur with that, Stephen. To talk about the county fire real fast, Fred, the big difference in our cities around us, the city of La Puente, the city of Baldwin Park, the city of Irwindale, they were included in the fire district many years ago, which you're not allowed by law anymore to join the fire district that way. So the fire bill is put on your property tax. The city of Covina, which joined after the fire districts were eliminated, has to pay cash out of pocket for fire service, and so does Pomona. Both those cities have different type of fire service. So you understand the city of Pomona has county firefighters, but the paramedics are provided by Cole Schaefer Ambulance, not from the county firefighters. Their ambulance transport and the paramedics, they have a hybrid of the system. That is one way. Covina takes it all. When they say they've never closed the fire station in El Monte, I believe fire station 167 was closed, you know, again, but they're going to say it was done by the city because they couldn't afford to pay the bill that the county was submitting to them. It's getting ready to close again. It's been on their agenda, and they've been talking about it. They got temporary funding by the federal government to keep the fire station open, the 3 fire stations. Remember, El Monte is bigger than us. They have less fire stations. That is quite evident. The 1997 ballot argument where the fire union got the study from the county of Los Angeles, it was the December 9th, 1997 vote where it said in the report that they would close 2 fire stations and eliminate 1 paramedic unit. That was signed by the 5 council members against Going County. One of your recall proponents signed it, Kathy Howard. Ben Wong, Kathy Howard, Richard Melendez, Steve Herford, and Mike Toohey signed not to do that. It's in 1997. It's in the 1997 sample ballot not to go county because in the report the fire union gave us, and it states that in the 1997 sample ballot, that they would eliminate 2 fire stations, Fire Station 3 and 5, and eliminate a paramedic unit. We had switched since then to ambulances, our own transport. But I'm saying that is out there. You voted on it, and we can, you know, the vote was like 72% to 28% not to go county in that date, but that sample ballot is available. We can drop down to the consent calendar. Is there any member of the City Council wishing to pull an item off the consent calendar? Mayor Pro Tem Sanderson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to pull off one, I believe it's number 6.
Splash pad?
I'm sorry?
The Del Norte splash pad?
Yeah, that's on consent.
Okay. Is there any other item wishing to pull up?
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve the remainder of the consent calendar.
And I'll second.
Moved in second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed? Passes 4-0. Mayor Pro Tem Sanderson, number 6.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Del Norte splash pad on here, it looks like that we want to make sure, I just wanted to verify with staff that we're using the park bond funds, not the general funds.
That is the plan. Yeah, we're waiting for the County Board of Supervisors to give us the final action on the use of the park bond funds, and so that should be coming very soon.
Thank you.
Is the splash pad combined with the dog park? Because I thought the dog park was using Prop 84 funds. I thought the splash pad was actually using community development block grant money because that's in a low-income census tract. Is that not correct, or?
Actually, Mr. Mayor, the splash pad is going to be utilizing both community development block grant funds and Prop 84 funds. And the reason we're utilizing those county park funds, bond funds, is that there's part of the agreement or the use of those park funds allows the city to apply for any future maintenance costs.
That was part of it. I do remember that.
And so therefore, we're utilizing those funds in order to recoup the full cost to maintain the splash pad.
I remember the maintenance portion. I forgot that. Okay, we have a motion for approval for number 6.
So moved.
I'll second.
Moved in second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Passes 4-0. We drop down to City Manager's office. Is that a Mother May I right now, or can we take it with the commission?
I think it's a Mother May I.
Yes, that is a Mother May I.
No problem. The only thing I was trying to do there is what Joanne Wilner talked about, is to combine that you have to attend the meeting to get paid for going to the meeting, and that all the stipends were adjusted as they were supposed to be. I think there was a question on that to make them drop down to what we stated previously.
I'll make a motion to approve. That's to bring it back with more information.
I'll second.
Moved in second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Passes 4-0. Drop down to item number 22, appointment of city commissioners. Mr. City Manager.
Have Mr. Freeland do that report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council. In May 2010, the City Council made appointments to 5 different city commissions for a 3-year term expiring March 31st, 2013. The appointments were done by resolution of the City Council. At your March 20th City Council meeting, the City Council adopted an ordinance to restructure the City of West Covina's advisory commissions as a cost-saving measure of our community. This action is one of several cost-saving actions that the city will be taking as a result of the State of California's rate of local funds. Tonight before you is the appointment of 10 members to the new Community and Senior Services Commission, as well as 5 appointments to the Planning Commission. The previous direction of the City Council under this new ordinance was to consolidate both the Senior Commission with the Community Services Commission and the Public Arts Commission with the Planning Commission. Those actions have already gone through, and it will be effective May 1st is the date that we have determined in that ordinance. So tonight we have 2 resolutions before you requesting the City Council select, again, 10 members to the Community and Senior Services Commission and 5 members to the Planning Commission. Attachment 1 to your staff report includes a list of those current city commissioners that serve on those different commissions that have expressed an interest to continue service, and we did have 2 current commissioners on those commissions request that they would like to step down at this time. There's a couple alternatives for the City Council to consider. One of the discussions at a previous meeting was that the City Council may wish to extend the appointments instead of just to fill the unexpired term, which is what the resolution currently states. You can, as a council, determine to extend that to do a 3-year term, which is the normal term of a city commissioner. Again, that's the City Council's prerogative. If you have any questions, staff is here to answer those.
If council doesn't have any questions, we'll start. As we did the commission appointments before, where each council member will take a turn nominating one. We'll start with the Community Service Commission and Senior Commission combination by going to my left, your right. Mayor Pro Tem Sanderson, then Councilmember Sykes, then Councilmember Herford, then myself, and then we'll keep on going until we have 10 commissioners there. So,
Mr. Mayor, I'm not sure if staff was aware that Jerry Curcio did not want to continue.
He did not respond to the city council.
He did call me and say that.
Okay.
hearing Jerry Curcio and Marjorie Fennell. Of those two commissions, Marjorie was already left off, so we have 13 commissioners, and we need to get down to 10. So, Mayor Pro Tem Sanderson, your nomination.
Nicholas Lewis.
Nicholas Lewis. Okay. Do I have a second, and we're going to vote on it?
I'll second.
Moved in second for Nick Lewis. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? 4-0. Congratulations, Nick, wherever you are. I know you're sitting right here somewhere. Oh, okay. Okay, Councilmember Sykes.
Community service.
The Community Service and Senior Commission are being combined, so it's the top two on your attachment 1 report. They are merging into 10 total, so we must eliminate 3.
Can we nominate Sandra Taylor, please?
You can. It's up to
I'll
you.
second the motion.
Okay. Moved in second. Sandra Taylor. All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed? Sandra Taylor, I know she's over here somewhere. Congratulations, wherever you're hiding. Oh, there she is. Okay. Councilmember Herford.
Mr. Mayor, I'll nominate Aurora Betty Valles.
I'll second.
Moved in second. Betty Valles. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? I'll nominate Glenn Kennedy.
I'll second.
Moved in second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Sanderson.
I will nominate John Hughes.
Okay. Is there a second?
Oh, second.
A motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed? 4-0. Congratulations, John. I believe John's back there, too. Councilmember Sykes?
George Ogden.
Motion to approve George Ogden.
I'll second.
Moved in second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed? Okay, thank you. George? Congratulations. Councilmember Herford.
Mr. Mayor, I'll nominate Paul Blackburn.
Second.
I'll second.
I already did. All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed? And they nominate John Michael Glenn.
Where's that one at?
He's in the Senior Citizen Commission.
Got it. I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 You're on, Mr. Sykes?
I think me.
No, Councilmember Sykes? No, I didn't hear your voice vote, I'm sorry. On John Glenn.
Oh.
Aye?
Aye.
I'm sorry. Congratulations, John Glenn. Mayor Pro Tem Sanderson.
Rod Perryman.
A motion to approve Rod Perryman. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved in second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Passes 5-0. Hold on. Or 4-0.
One more.
Councilmember Sykes, you're picking the last appointment for the... The pressure's on, Fred. You need a candy bar again? You need another Snickers?
You guys know him better than I do. I'll defer to the next person.
Come on. So you are passing? Yes. Councilmember Herford.
Well, in order to keep the Senior Citizen Commission intact, I'll nominate Gail Mason.
I'll second.
Okay, move and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? That is the 10 members of the new Community Service/Senior Commission. Congratulations. Okay. Planning Commission, Public Arts Commission. Likewise, we will start and go the opposite way, where Councilmember Herford will nominate the first person. We only are picking 5 here total to merge both the Planning Commission and the Public Arts Commission. There are present 9 nominees. Councilmember Herford.
Mr. Mayor, I'll nominate Rodolfo Valles.
I'll second.
Okay, moved in second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed? Councilmember?
No.
No? Okay, sorry. 3-1. Councilmember Sykes.
I nominate Sotelo.
I'll second.
Okay, moved in second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, Mayor Pro Tem, congratulations, Rob and Rudy. I'm sorry I didn't say that. Mayor Pro Tem Sanderson, it is your pick.
Don Holtz.
Okay,
I'll second.
we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 This is 4-0. My pick, I will go with Don Woods.
I'll second.
Motion is second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed?
No.
And Councilmember Herford for the last pick, if it's cleared or nominated.
Oh, boy. I'll nominate Gerald Menifee.
I'll second.
Motion and a second for Dr. Gerald Menifee. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed?
No.
That is the Planning Commission. That is the 5. Okay, do we need to do any resolutions?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, it would be appropriate at this time to entertain the resolutions, which could be done by single vote for both resolutions, approving the resolution subject to the appointments that have been decided.
And is our city clerk going to make those names stated, or just do it by what affirmation?
Well, the first resolution, 2012-25, appointing the planning commissioners, which would be Rudy Valles, Rob Sotelo, Don Holtz, Don Woods, and Gerald Menifee. Second resolution, 201226, which would be appointing the individuals to the Community and Senior Services Commission, and you have Nick Lewis, Sandra Taylor, Betty Valles, Glenn Kennedy, John Hughes, George Ogden, Paul Blackburn, John Glenn, Rod Perryman, and Gail Mason.
Okay, do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion, Mr. Mayor, to adopt with the appointments to serve the unexpired terms through next March 31st, 2013. Okay.
Do I have a second?
I'll make a second.
Motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Herford,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Sanderson,
Aye.
Councilmember Sykes,
No.
Mayor Tui.
Aye. That passes 3-1. Okay, we drop down to City Attorney's Office. Item number 23, City Attorney, or consideration of appointment to fill the vacancy of the City Council seat for the unexpired term ending November of 2013. What is the council pleasure on doing this? Are we taking multiple names, one name, and voting on it?
Mr. Mayor, let me just kick off the discussion.
Okay, Councilmember Herford.
First off, this city is very lucky to have the applicants that they had apply for the vacancy. We have some of the most talented people that are offering to serve on our council. We have a 3-time mayor. We have an individual who's been president of almost every little league in town and served on the planning commission for over 20 years. We have individuals in the private sector that are university, not presidents, but high-ranking officials in universities. We have a naval officer, we heard that tonight. So there is a wealth of experience and qualifications here for the applicants, and I want to thank everybody for applying. It is actually an honor to consider everybody. I know that the decision tonight will not rest well with 24 probably, but the job we have is we have to fill a seat. We can't afford an election, so the best way to do it is through appointment. So before I make any names public or anything, my main goal here is to find somebody that can work with everybody, that is a good communicator, has been in the community a long time, is very knowledgeable on city services. So those are kind of the qualities that I'm looking for. Okay.
Mayor Pro Tem Sanderson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I, as well, am very pleased to see the applications that did come in, and I was extremely appreciative to so many people willing to serve our community. I did do some phone interviews and did just talk with some of the people, and very, very qualified. And so this is going to be a difficult decision tonight, because I think we do have so many people that are just extremely qualified. As a resident of West Covina, I look for professionalism, willing to work with others, independent, caring about the community. That's number one. And I think we have that with a lot of these applicants. So I'm looking forward to working with whomever the council does choose tonight. I also want to just say I'm hoping to find somebody as kind as Miss Lane was. She was a good person, and she will be missed. I really did enjoy working with her. So I'll look forward to seeing what the mayor would like to do in this process. Thanks.
No problem. Councilmember Sykes, do you have any comments before we go forward?
Just to say thank you to those 25 who did step forward, and I hope that you keep in mind that should you not be selected tonight, I encourage you, please stay involved. And we do have elections that are coming. And most of all, I'm hoping that we can have someone that we select that will be able to hit the ground running and be totally dedicated to doing the good steward job of managing the people's money. Thank you.
I concur with what all the council members have said. We obviously have a great group of individuals. Some I've known for a very long time, some I haven't known as well, but obviously they show the interest to apply, and a lot of them came here tonight. It is a very difficult decision whether whether we pick a woman or a man for this job. It is a very difficult job. Some days it's not as fun to sit up here, even though I tend to be somewhat of a comedian. You have to enjoy life, and no matter what people are saying, and remember that anyone can serve up here, and I think no matter who gets appointed today, you're going to find out, and no matter what, and I think Fred would even admit this, that things look quite different on that side of the podium than on this side. Like I said, it's sometimes easier to be a cynic than to actually sit there, and we all started on that side. Many different years for many different reasons, but all four of us up here had our own reasons why we got involved, just like many of you who are out here today. And like I said, I would never, I'd be remiss to say something that doesn't have what they perceive as what they believe is in the best interest of the city. Many of these are former commissioners or current commissioners. Many of them are present elected officials or former elected officials, like I said. It's a great list, and I just believe that ultimately, I don't disagree with the main thing that was said, is that I'm looking for someone that has community service mindset and have shown that consistently for many years, and I believe there are a few of them that rise just above the others because of that community service and community involvement for decades. And to me, that is more of the of what I'm looking for. It is a daunting task, like I said here, regardless of the differences sometimes we all have. It is interesting once you get on this side, and I know I've talked to Fred and worked, since he's our newest member many times, that once you get behind the curtain, which they all perceive there's a curtain, when you actually see everything, it's not necessarily exactly as you may have thought it was, and that's what I'm saying. Whoever we pick will find that and have to hit the ground running no matter who it is. Budgets are difficult these days no matter what you do, all across the board. No matter what you do, you will be second-guessed. That is the nature of this business, and that's why we have elections, so people can put their policies out there and let people elect them for what they believe in. So I can have some more direction from our council members, or we're going to, Councilmember Herford.
Mr. Mayor, maybe we could go around like we did with the commissioners. I'm not sure how this is going to work, but I would like to put into nomination longtime planning commissioner and community volunteer Rob Sotelo.
No problem. We will go to Councilmember Sykes. We went this other way that time. We're reversing it.
Okay, as far as nominating?
Yes, sir. You need another candy bar? It's a good time for a Snickers, I'm telling
you. You know, I hate to put the kiss of death on somebody. But you know, I'm gonna. It's very difficult decision. When I look at all the qualities that we have to choose from, and then I also look at the situation that we're in, and unfortunately, I'm going to have to nominate Drexel Smith.
Okay, thank you. Councilwoman Sanderson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think we were all kind of talking because this is trying to prolong the issue, because there's so many people I would love to nominate. I think we have a great field. One of the people that I did speak to that really stuck out and I thought would really benefit this community, and that person I'd like to nominate would be Mr. Mark Booth.
Okay. Now it's my task. Thanks. I appreciate that. Passing that down here. There are, to me, three individuals that rose, and there's some other ones just below them, but I mean, that have been involved in our community for years, and obviously I would have no problem seconding that appointment of Rob Sotelo as my number one appointment. Other than that, it would be, I'll just go with that right now. There's two other people that are both school board members that are just absolutely stellar too.
Did you say a name?
Rob Sotelo, I said.
Okay, so we have two for Rob.
When I looked at what I needed to do tonight on this task, I consistently came back to trying to speak for the people, because my preference would be for this to be put to a vote. But financially, it's just not feasible. And when I look at the person that I nominated and check with his background, check with his representation in a previous neighboring city, and I have listened to the gentleman speak. He's articulate. His background shows that he's educated. He's a businessman, so he knows how to count. I think somebody brought that up earlier, which is very important. And he's been in this seat for more than just one term. Not as long as Mr. Herford. But the man definitely has experience not only in local government, but also in running a multi-million-dollar company. Now, he may not have been here in West Covina for an extended period of time, but he does have a strong, dedicated record of community service. And as I said before, I hate to give him the kiss of death, but I do appreciate all the other folks that are listed. They were outstanding. So I'm not denigrating anyone that submitted, and we definitely had some outstanding folks with wonderful public records. But when I see the situation that we're in, Mr. Smith has a record that we can live with until the next election. So again, I strongly urge my colleagues to take a look at what he offers and to strongly consider what we're about to do. We need someone that's going to be independent thinking. Independent thinking. We need someone that has been there and done that in the way of service from this seat. From this seat. And he's been around. the community, through the state, and nationally. I know we can benefit from what he brings to the table. We need strong, independent thinkers, because we need to get outside the box we've been in for a long time. This didn't just happen overnight, the dire straits that we're in. We've been without a balanced budget for too long. We need someone that's going to help us get back on the right track. We need someone that the people feel they want to give a chance to. Because we know that some of us, and I was one of those, that came to the people, and I had to come a few times to get folks to trust me enough with their vote to say, let's give him a chance and see if he's going to get us back on the right track. So this gentleman has not been voted on citywide in West Covina. But our neighboring city, when he left it in pretty good condition. As a matter of fact, the chief of police from Los Angeles, he can live anywhere he wants in LA County, anywhere pretty much in Southern California. He can use helicopters to get to work. But you know what? He chose to live in the neighboring city where this gentleman was on the council. So I want to reiterate, we need some independent thinking. Someone that's going to bring experience and help us work a new path towards getting West Covina back on track. And I wrestled with this thing all night, thinking about all these folks that I've met through the city. They're just wonderful people. A lot of these folks I've seen that are nominated, that have put their names in, that are interested. But no matter how I looked at it, to me, he was the best thing that we need at this moment, at this time. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Sykes.
Mr. Mayor, let me just, I'll call for the question on Mr. Sotelo, and you got a second, but let me say this about Mr. Smith. I've known Drexel for a long time, a good friend, and he is an excellent leader. And, you know, I have a list of many people. I threw out Rob Sotelo as my #1 choice, so I'm not saying that Drexel isn't qualified. He would be an excellent candidate, so I don't want that to be out there. And I hope that every one of these people that put their name in is an independent thinker. I think that's why they applied. I think it's easy to say people aren't independent, but you know as well as I, most of the votes on this council are 5-0, 4-0. I mean, we get to some controversial issues, and yeah, there are opinions on those, but we do often vote alike. And as far as the condition of the city, I disagree that we're in dire straits. We are one of the most financially sound cities in Southern California, and with a $29.6 million reserve, we will do much better than El Monte, Glendora, La Puente, all of the surrounding cities. But this isn't the issue tonight. I will call for the question on Mr. Sotelo.
There's been a motion and second on Rob Sotelo. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed?
No.
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 It's hard. Really.
Okay.
For the vote, I'll second Drexel Smith, so we can go forward. So.
Thank you very much. I second.
Well, you made the motion. I'll second your motion. Okay.
And before we vote, I too concur that I've known Drexel for a lot of years, just like a lot of the other elected officials that applied. And I believe there's a lot of people that have given their years of service to West Covina, and I understand he did it to Walnut. Gilbert Ramirez gave it to the Covina Valley Unified School District when he served there. I believe Rob's my number one choice, and my number two choice would be one of the two school board members we currently have in both Covina Valley and West Covina Unified. So I can't support that. Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor of Drexel Smith say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
No.
No. Okay.
I'll second Mr. Booth so that we can move forward.
No problem. We have a motion and a second for Mark Booth. All those in favor of Mark Booth say aye.
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 Those opposed?
No.
No. And again, that's no knock on Mark. Mark's a great guy. I believe there's some people.
I'll make a motion that I'll nominate Daryl Myrick.
I'll second that. We have a motion and a second on Daryl Myrick. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed?
No.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, I'll nominate Karen Armbrust.
Do I have a second? That will die for a lack of a second. I nominate Mike Spence.
I'll second.
Moved and second. All those in favor of Mike Spence say aye. Aye. Those opposed?
No.
Okay. We're chewing up this list fast now.
Mayor, if I may, Kerry Warshaw.
Okay. We have a motion for Corey Warshaw. Is there a second? That will die for a lack of a second.
Just taking nominations from the floor at this point. Nick Lewis.
We have a motion to approve Nick Lewis. Is there a second? That will die for a lack of a second.
Mr. Mayor, I'll nominate Tom Kuchalski.
We have a motion for Tom. I'll second Tom Pachowski then, this so we can vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
No.
No.
2-2. Okay. That was a trick one.
I'll nominate George Glidis. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. I apologize.
He's a former commissioner.
Yes, I know him.
Okay. Do we have a second? That will die for a lack of a second.
Okay. Robert Kunza.
Motion on the floor for Robert Kunza. Do I have a second? That will die for a lack of a second. Do I need to start passing out candy to everybody? Yeah. Oh, man. It's from Halloween 2 years ago. Budget cuts.
You nominated Rob for planning.
Well, yeah, Sotelo for planning, but
That will open the seat up.
but not for.
I can make a motion again for Rob Sotelo.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? It passes 3-1. Rob Sotelo is the new council member. I'm not sure what to do.
On the planning.
Do you do swearing in, or?
I can make an appointment with Mr. Sotelo to come to my office, and we can swear him in as soon as possible so he can start serving as a council member.
Okay, hold on. Before we go, guys, we have to, I need a motion on the floor to reopen the Planning Commission because there's been a vacancy just created on the Planning Commission.
So move.
Second.
I believe I need a 4/5 vote to add that back, or I'm not sure. So.
Yes, we need to fill the space.
No problem. I think we have the 4 votes I needed. There we go.
Okay, so we go
Okay,
back.
if we can go back.
You were the nomination. You were next in line.
Me?
Yes.
Mike Toohey, great.
So it's all you, baby.
You know what? I'll do the Fred. I will pass it.
You're passing to me. I'll nominate Dave Stewart.
I'll second it.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed? No.
Thank you.
Were you catching?
Thank you. That's good. Oh, man.
Okay. So, can I bring back, before you guys leave, not you guys, us, can we bring back the resolution for the Planning Commission and alter that?
The Planning Commission resolution was 2012-25, and that will be adopted as amended by removing Rob Sotelo and adding Dave Stewart.
But Councilmember Sykes voted against that. Do we bring that? I'm not. How does that work?
That was on the commission's.
That could be brought,
You voted against the commission resolution, so.
we
I wanted
can,
them all to be there.
So we have, one of us have to bring it back.
we should take a motion to amend the resolution, which can be voted on right now.
Only people that voted in favor of it, or I don't know how Robert's Rules of Order works on this, because someone can't reconsider who voted against it under Robert's Rules of Order and state law.
That's correct. That's correct.
So to one of you, can we reconsider that? We have to reconsider the resolution now?
Okay. I'd like to reconsider the resolution.
Councilmember Herford?
Second.
Moved in second to reconsider reconsider the resolution. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. I'm sorry, Fred. Now we can all fully participate again, sir. Sorry about that. Now we have a resolution to approve.
We will amend Resolution 2012-25 by adding Dave Stewart in place of Rob Sotelo to the other 4.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Moved in, you can participate now, sir. Moved in second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed?
No.
Fred, you're throwing me off today. Okay, we have some serious business. I got to find it now. I'm very sorry. Oh,
We could have it quiet for just a sec. This is,
I don't know if we have any AB 1, 2, 3, 4 reports or council member comments. If none, I will move to adjournments. I'd like to move to adjourn the meeting tonight in memory of Mal Eaton, a graduate of the University of California at Santa Barbara and the University of Southern California. Mal Eaton, Coach Eaton, was a teacher and a coach at West Covina High. In 1955, he established West Covina High School's football program, which became one of the most successful programs in California. Mal's career spanned more than 36 years with 256 career wins and 16 championships. He was selected as Coach of the Year 10 times, was inducted in the Football Coaches Hall of Fame in 1993, was Coach of the Decade from 1960 to 1970, and in 1969 he was honored as Alumni of the Year by UC Santa Barbara. He also coached Mount Sac College, Bonita High, Avnell High School. He was inducted in the West Covina Walk of Fame in 2010. I've known Coach Eaton for many years. When I played basketball at Mount Sac, he was the football coach. He's just been a tremendous individual, and the city of West Covina truly lost one of those unique assets our city has ever produced. And we will truly miss, like I said once again, Coach Eaton, and if we can send the condolences to his family in our city, and I greatly appreciate that. If I can have a second.
I second that.
Moved and second to adjourn the meeting in memory of Mal Eaton. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We're adjourned. Thank you very much, guys.